rolling.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 175 of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. 6 years, and I still get tongue-tied when I say Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline. Website design, SEO, even AI SEO now. Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can absolutely help. So check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. You can request a free review of your online presence right there on the homepage today. We're also brought to you by Academy Safe, which I'm sure we'll wind up talking about during the episode. But for those of you who don't know, Academy Safe is a nonprofit whose mission is to help clean up the martial arts by advocating for background checks, U.S. Center for Safe Sport certifications, and concussion training for all coaches and staff members at every academy throughout the United States and Canada. So I'm the executive director and founder, Rob Ingram from McDojo. Everybody knows him, those crazy videos, outing black belts or the funny stuff, no touch, martial arts, all that good stuff, right? That's McDojo Life. He's our executive VP, and together we're trying to change the way that people find and vet their martial arts academy. So our registry is about, once we build it out even a little bit more, we're coming up right on a year in November. The idea is that people will go to our registry and find academies that have gone through these things. We're not trying to push anybody out of the world, right? We're trying to keep the creepers out by doing the background checks. But at the same time, we're just a registry or a list of good academies throughout the United States and Canada that are doing the right things and taking the proper safety precautions. So you can check that out at academysafe.org. And again, we'll probably talk about it a little bit more through the episode. You can get my hat, my little Friends Jiu-Jitsu hat at jujitsudummies.shop. If you like Friends, everybody always notices. Thank you to our friends over Flow and Roll, hands down the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Visit them on Instagram at flow_n_roll. You can check out the custom designs they do and that they've created for academies all across the country. One of the really cool things is that they do like no-gi kits. So if you got to fight, like you're an MMA fighter, you need your sponsors on your shorts. They'll just do the one-off for you, get them printed. You know, you don't have to worry about ordering in bulk. Nice. You can visit their website. Use code JJD to get 20% off your online orders. That's not good for the custom stuff, but he can also help you out with your gis and no-gi kits for your academy. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a black belt training out of South Florida. I train at Coral Springs BJJ right in Coral Springs. We've got new guy behind the camera, Victor. Welcome, Victor. Ben did not show up today. We're going to give him a pow-pow later. He's usually on co-hosting duties. I know he's got a big event this weekend. He's doing a kickboxing tournament in Davie with the Davie PAL. We're going to be there. Academy Safe will have a table set up, and we'll be talking about that there. You can check Ben's fight tape. I don't know if you've seen his stuff for fight tape. Fighttape.us on Instagram, or the website is fighttape.us as well. You can get some really cool tape and gauze if you're an MMA fighter, or if you just train in your academy and you like to get your hands wrapped. Don't forget to like, comment, save, share, and click that subscribe button. We appreciate all of your support. Joining us today, returning guest Charlie Vinch, and he brought a friend, Rose Gracie. Welcome, Rose.
Hi.
It's your first time on the show.
Yes.
But not the first time podcasting. I think you're an old pro, you said, right?
No,
you know that.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm a pro. But yes, definitely.
I'll leave out the old part. You're a pro.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. For those of you who don't, for those listeners out there who don't know who you are Rorion Gracie's daughter.
Yes.
And probably, I get maybe like the younger guys know Henner and Hidon, right? Those are your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I think
lucky them.
Well, let's start there. So it's funny. I can't open up my Instagram without seeing your brother and either Sleeper Hold or something from Shark Tank and all that stuff. So it's funny because it's like I kind of see him I think we all see him every day. Probably you do too, right? Are you?
No, only brain stuff pops up for me.
Yeah,
literally brain stuff.
That is definitely one of the things that we want to talk about. So tell us about the Concussion Foundation, right? That's you can elaborate for us. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with them, and by the end of the episode, I think we're gonna get Charlie to donate his brain, right? That's
you don't want to say it. It's probably bad.
So tell us. So you're a director?
Well, first let me just go back a little 2 steps here.
Sure.
Just so people understand a little bit. Yes, I am Horion's daughter, but my mother is Carlos's granddaughter. So So my mom and dad are cousins. So I have a very unique perspective and situation within my family because I'm Elia's granddaughter and Carlos' great-granddaughter.
Okay.
So it's easier for
We
people
need
to,
like the chart.
yeah.
Jamie, pull that up.
We need the chart.
Yeah. It's just because so people understand the complexity and why I do the things that I do, right? So when I tell people, like, you know, we had a call from somebody that just called me right now, and then he's like, "Oh, let's have him in a podcast." But you know, I grew up with him, but because he trained under my Uncle Carson, and I grew up with those guys in Copacabana. That's where I'm from in Brazil. So I grew up very close to Carson because, you know, he's my grandma Rose is his sister, same father and mother. And so is my Uncle Hobson, which is Henzo's dad. Same father and mother as my grandma Rose. So just so you understand. So
We definitely need like the chart.
Jamie, pull that up. We got.
I know just about every name that you said, but the connecting the dots is.
So just remember, there's two brothers that you most people know about in the Gracie family, right? Carlos and Elio. So they're two brothers. Elio is my father's father, so my grandpa. And then Carlos, which is his brother, is my mother's grandpa. So he's my great grandpa. So I'm the first great granddaughter on Carlos' side and the first granddaughter on Alice's side.
Okay.
And it's just because I'm so involved, heavily involved in when I do things in protecting things, I'm not just, you know, yes, I'm Ellie's granddaughter and my father and stuff. And there's a look and a vibe that comes with that whole side of the family. But there's got to be an understanding that it's just much more than that. That everyone I grew up with and everyone that I know from both sides of my family comes from the same world of fighting.
Yeah.
So,
Does that bother you at all? Like some people would be like, I'm not just this person's daughter. I am, you know, I'm my own person and I do my own things. Does it, do you ever get caught up in that? Like, yes.
No, it bothers me. No,
you know?
I'm like, what a privilege it is to be the daughter and part of my family. I mean, I feel like it's a massive privilege. And, you know, there's a lot of Gracie family members, you know, that have the last name Gracie. What they choose to do with that last name is very different from all of them.
You know, I heard Nate Diaz, somebody had asked him at like a UFC press conference, he says, how does it feel to live in your brother's shadow? And he's like, I couldn't be prouder. What an amazing shadow to live in.
Yeah.
And he like shut that down so quickly. That was like the best take on that, where you have somebody that's as popular or more popular than you, and especially in the same sport. So I really thought that was a great way of addressing it. It's like, it's the best thing that could ever happen. Wouldn't you want to be my brother's brother, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a great way of looking at it.
But it's funny because people look at me in a certain way when they say, well, it's Horion's daughter. So and he don't hand her sisters. They completely just put a label on like, that's the setup that she comes from.
Yeah.
And honestly, couldn't be further from the truth, because my dad moved here. I was 5 years old. My brothers were all born in America, but I grew up in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. And I grew up going from my grandpa Elio's house on one weekend. And then the following weekend, my mom's dad is, you know, a very well-known, famous guy in Brazil for like music, directing movies and stuff. So why my grandpa Elio had a strict Gracie diet, and we had very like, you know, like a certain way of doing things, like the Gracie way. My grandpa Carlos, which was my mom's side, he was like the Brazilian Hugh Hefner. He lived with like 12 girls in the house. Under his bed, there was like different light colors, like porn, like a whole wall of porn videos. It was just like, okay. So I would go from one weekend, like really different than living in the Gracie family. So it kind of shaped who I am today.
Yeah.
But, you know, so when I do things, when I speak of things, unless they understand that side or all the dynamics of what, you know, helped build me to who I am, it's hard to grasp the concept, you know?
Absolutely. I grabbed Richard Bresler's book. Richard, and he just passed. You know, how familiar, I mean,
How familiar am I with Richard?
You have to know Richard.
Extremely familiar with Richard.
We had him on the show twice via Zoom. It's very sad to hear about his passing.
Absolutely.
But he was great interview. Great, you know, you only get to know somebody so much through meeting them. But we would chat occasionally, and he asked me some advice when the book first came out. There was a little bit of trouble with getting it out. I won't go into it, but because he knew I owned a marketing company, he asked me some advice, and I just, you know, how to approach it. And I think I gave him some good advice, and they solved the problem. And so we were becoming friendly, and then he got sick, and, you know, so.
Yeah,
but
Richard
was a really sweet man.
Richard was a fundamental in the beginning of everything, obviously. I remember there was at the Gracie Academy, there was a $20 bill that he had given my dad, his first $20
Yeah.
and stuff. So obviously we grew up watching him.
Yeah.
It's like, the love and relationship that I had with Richard was of an uncle, right?
Sure.
So I remember sometimes you'd be like, Rose, I want to go to this event. I was like, you're always VIP. VIP always. Just get to the VIP. I actually went not long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. I went through some of the messages that I had with him, and it was always me like, Richard, you're VIP. You don't have to. He's like, oh, just wait. Always, always a lot of respect, obviously, for everything that he did. And I remember when he left the Gracie Academy, I was at another gym at the time in Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu Club, at the beginning of the Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu Club. So Richard came over.
Is that your dad's first, or is that the Machado?
No, my dad's first.
That was, okay.
Yeah.
That was your dad's first.
Well, Richard left. He was there for a long time, and then he left that gym, my dad's gym, and him and Lo Anderson at the time. I don't even know.
I don't know that name.
Back, if you see some of the challenges back in the days, guy with a little bit longer hair, that's Lo Anderson.
Okay.
His kids now fight and compete. Elias Anderson and forgot his brother's name. Golly, but so they compete EBI, Combat Jiu-Jitsu, Bellator. They compete. Anderson, I forgot his first name, but anyways,
it's gonna come to you. Just spit it out.
Eventually, well, yeah. But anyways, Elias, I do have a closer relationship with Elias. Richard left with Lo from the Gracie Academy, and then I had this gym that I was, my relationship and whatnot, and we had kind of opened up this gym, Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu Club, and then Richard came and taught classes there in the beginning. But that was many, many, many years, 20-something years ago.
So for anything that if any questions that I ask, obviously from what I just know from the internet and the rumors and the things, right? So forgive me if I say something that's, please correct me. But like with Richard, right? Richard did loan your dad the money for that first UFC, right? He was integral in that. So for those that don't know, Richard wrote a check that I think he borrowed money from his parents and then loaned it to your dad to help with the first UFC event, correct?
Not just the first gym.
Oh, okay.
My dad opened the gym with Richard's help. So Richard has been fundamental from the garage days to opening the Gracie, Academy, and obviously with the UFC and everything else. So Richard was always highly involved in everything that we did. Yeah.
So with Richard as well. So like your dad, he had other students before Richard, but Richard was like the first blue belt that he wound up having, right? He might have had students that he trained, but he didn't have anybody that was with him long term before Richard. Then Richard was like his first student.
There was an older gentleman.
Because he even words it like they're careful to word it even on the cover, like his first. I forget how he says it. It says something along those lines, and I know talking to him, it was just like, I may not have been the first ever that trained with Rorion in the United States, but I was the first blue belt and like the first student that stayed and got promoted.
Yeah, because there was actually a neighbor that I remember just would walk his dog, and he was like a really older man. I just remember him being like, I was really young, so for me, he was just like, but complete gray hair. And I remember him taking classes with my dad in the garage, and he was, I believe that probably that was the first student.
Okay.
And, but Richard was definitely my dad's friend above anything. Sure. You know what I mean? So
that's great. Man, wow. There's so much history. I mean, it's like, again, when speaking to Richard, I mean, have you read the book? Did you read the book? Yeah.
I can't even read long text messages.
I'm not a reader. I'm a audiobook guy. If I'm going to listen to stuff, I've listened to 4 audiobooks in August. So I'm not usually a reader, but when he sent me that, I was like, we've had people that wrote books before, but it's always like, I'm not like every guest that has a book, I got to read it. I'm like, it's too time consuming. But I cracked that book, and then I would read it I got so into it that I started just a half hour every night till we had enough time before he was coming on where I read it like a half hour. And that is the first book that I read cover to cover. Wow. I think since I've been in high school.
It was so meaningful, Charlie, that he put the book right there.
I need to read it. I feel guilty now for not reading it.
It's a great read. It's a great read. Again,
guilty.
It's probably the only book that I finished cover to cover. I don't even since I was a kid, because I've started books even in high school.
Right?
That one too. Yeah, that one's an
every
easier
book
read.
he's ever read, it's here. He's waiting for the next book. so he can
Charlie,
put it up.
Two.
Start with Officer Danny.
start here.
And then if you could finish Officer Danny, then I'll lend
right.
you this one.
I don't know if I can get through this. What's about 20 pages?
I do try to. This one is almost always here. Especially after his passing, I've tried to put this on. The other ones I switched out with Rob's, and Rob from McDojo wrote a book as well, so I switched that one out. This is our latest guest. Officer Danny wrote this one for that one's not about jiu-jitsu, but it's about like lockdown safety. He's a what do they call that? A school resource officer. So he wrote a book about lockdowns.
2 books he's ever read in the show.
Yeah.
Now that I live in Florida, I should read this because, I mean, let's be honest here. There was that big incident in Parkland, right?
Right. Yeah, I live right, Coral Springs. You're right there too. Where are you living? Where do you live? 'Cause your gym is in
Coconut Creek.
Coconut Creek. I
But
just
now
want to say Margate.
Now we live in Deerfield.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Deerfield de Janeiro.
Is that?
I've never heard it called that.
Deerfield de Janeiro.
When you start to see all this, the yellow and green signs on the stores, you know where you are.
Dude, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
That's in. I live as I wear my yellow and green shirt. I used to live off of Southwest 18th Street in Boca, towards like 441, like right. Some of those the old condo complexes that you can see from the Turnpike, and I would get my hair cut over there. There's the whole strip of
Casa du Pão
Brazilian
by the bakery, Casa du Pão.
I don't know if that was there when I was there. We're talking about probably 20 years ago, but right, Southwest 18th comes out on 441. I think is it 441? No, on the State Road 7 441.
This is not just Florida podcast, right?
Yeah.
So no one knows
that's
what
everywhere.
you guys are talking about.
Well, we're biggest here, so we could see our
I'm
viewership.
in Florida,
is
and I
here.
don't have no idea what you guys are talking about.
No, there's just a strip there in Boca Raton on I think 441.
So
is
to
heavily
explain to people, this is a civilized Rio de Janeiro. It's not Florida. It's civilized Rio de Janeiro. It's the Rio de Janeiro that you can get in the car and use your phone and no one is going to snatch it out of your hand. Yeah. That's a very safe thing here. But it's Brazilians everywhere. Brazilians are the dentist. Brazilians deliver your food on Uber. Brazilians are the Uber. Brazilians are at the cashiers at the restaurant, at the supermarket. There's Guaraná, the Brazilian drinks at the market.
I'm not in Deerfield a lot. I lived here in Boca, and I went to like the LA Fitness that used to, I guess it's still there on the Hillsborough and US 1. So like that was like me going into Deerfield. So I haven't spent a lot of time in Deerfield. So I'm actually like surprised to hear this. Where is this? Is it all of Deerfield is like that?
So when
now?
you go to, let me tell you, if you want to get to Brazil, if you go to Deerfield Beach, the actual beach on the pier.
Yeah.
If you go to the left side, if you like facing the water, and you go to the left side of the pier, you're in Brazil.
Really? Okay.
And they're playing all sorts of different kinds. They're playing Brazilian country. They're playing Brazilian funk right there. There's only Brazilians, and they have every kind of Brazilian. It's right there.
Yeah.
And it's you go to the right side of the pier, not so much. The left side of the pier.
Okay.
Welcome to Rio.
Yeah. Okay. Now
Welcome
I know.
to Rio.
That's good to know. So training we talked about right before the episode. Obviously, we'll talk about it now. You trained as a child. You trained jiu-jitsu. Tell me about like that journey and learning with your dad and your family. What was that like? Was it only your dad being your coach, or did you get to train with your uncles and
it was my dad mostly and my grandpa Elio. So there wasn't really what it is now today that people just everybody's at the gym. It wasn't like that. It's like you're teaching a class and this is what it is and this is what we're teaching them and this is what you have to learn. When you started, there's no part of the rolling part of it. My grandpa's like, okay, that's enough. This is
really?
Because it wasn't taught for that. It's like a women's self-defense class. They're not rolling after the class.
Okay.
It's exactly what it was. So my grandpa's belief was that, I told you guys earlier, the women should have heat up their stomach in the oven and cool it off in the sink. So, but I did have the incredible, amazing experience of being able to actually go and run stuff at the gym. So I worked the front desk. And then I learned everything about the intricacies of actually running the school and understand that. Outside of them, although I butt inside of the mats too, like if somebody's not teaching it right, I can tell them from miles away. I'm like, this guy sucks as a teacher. Like, nope,
What's
bro.
the sign? What's the number one sign that you see inside of a school when you go in? You're just like, this is not going to work out because I already saw that red flag. And
I mean,
it's not gonna work out.
I mean,
What's the number one? What's the number one that just like it smacks you in the face right away? What is it?
the color of the gis.
Color of the geese. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us
So,
about
for
it.
example, like even if I'm interviewing, because I hire black belts all the time to come teach in several schools here, right?
Okay.
So when I put the questionnaire, I ask. Now they're gonna know, but the secret. But I ask, what color gis do you prefer? White, all colors. You know, like black, blue, and white. You know, what color gis do you wear? And then all colorful, just surprise me, or, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever. I already know by the way they choose what style of jiu-jitsu they teach. If they pick white gis only, I already know that they're more on the self-defense side of things. If they pick white, blue, and black, I already know they're sport jiu-jitsu. All colors, they've trained 10th Planet. They've gone everywhere. They have no home. They're showing up.
It's a Ronin. It's just like a nomad.
like-
It's a
Nomad.
Ronin.
They're like,
Yeah.
you could show up with
Yeah.
anything. And, you know, it's crazy because when you get to the black belt, but there's levels of black belts. You have the black belt that's a white belt. You have the black belt that's a blue belt. You have the black belt that's, you know. So there's certain things that what I'm looking for is, you know, there's certain things that I am actually looking for. And, you know, the stuff, you know, I tell them, teach a class. Let me see what you're doing.
We talked about it in the car on the way here.
Did we?
We talked about what makes a good teacher.
Oh, yeah, true. Because my dad is a phenomenal teacher.
So I've heard the absolute, and I've heard this from many
amazing.
people, not just people from Elio's side, but I've heard this from across the board, that your dad is the best teacher when it comes to taking information, showing it to somebody, and then they're able to apply it immediately. Like nobody's like, wait, what did he say? I don't know how to do that. Let's go see it 10 times. Like it's very easily digestible. I've heard that from many, many people.
Yeah. I mean, I think the secret of teaching is if you're making it very clear. But I like things, for example, when, you know, I tell people like, don't have when you're teaching a move, do you have everybody around you or do you have everybody standing up against the wall? You know, why is standing up against the wall what I think it's the best? Because you control the angle that someone is actually looking at the move, right? If everybody's around, everyone is looking from a different angle, then you have guys running and trying to pick it up and understand. And then doing things like calling, like, you know, here's my hand that's going, here's the foot, and then you tap that foot that you're using so people can connect to these things. You have to be able to teach jiu-jitsu to a door, literally, for them to understand. It has to be so simple, so easy that, you know, you actually have to take the student there, you know. You don't, you know, I see with teaching of the kids, then I just go into schools and I watch the kids class. But when people ask me, what did you think? I am 100% honest. I'm like, I thought that sucked. I thought they were very rude. I thought that you were yelling at the kids. There's no reason for you to be bash, like, you know, telling the kid that, no, you're doing it wrong. You never tell a kid he's doing the move wrong, ever. Ever. Don't ever tell the kid you're doing the move wrong. You correct the move on the kid and you say, great, see how that is? And then you just, because the kid respond to, you know, praise and that makes them aware. So even if they were doing it wrong, if you go, oh, that was wrong, it makes them feel, but if you show them the correct way, see how it's like this, great job, but correcting their fingers and doing things so it helps them connect to that. So yeah, teachings, I mean, when they count points, if they're like, okay, here, this move here, like right here in the competition, that's 2 points. I'm like, like help us all right now.
On Thursdays, I will show at least one move. Like, so on Thursdays at my school, I've been there for a year. I'm not a coach, but the coach will say, hey, you have anything from here? And I'll tell, yeah, I got something, and I'll show something. And I always go like this, everybody on this side. So like they do a semicircle, I do a semicircle, and then I move. I did it last night. So I'm like, okay, let me move here, like move my uke and go, you know, okay, now go here. You see, right? 'Cause I am so visual that if they're set up in a circle, like if a coach says, okay, everybody circle up, and they go in the middle, I don't sit down. I'll walk around because I need to see where the foot is. I need to see, is his hand like this on that side or is it this? That makes a difference in the move, right? Like, so I will walk around, but I'm doing it because that's his class and he wants people to circle up. So I'll move and he might not move, where I will semicircle, like just everybody on this side, and then I'll move because I know that you need to see everything. But that's the way that I learn. I'm very visual in the learning. Like I don't even need to hear you speak it. It's like I know people, what is it? Like they list, you can hear it, you can see it, you know, you could feel it, like you said, tapping, like everybody like responds a little bit differently. I absolutely have to see where every limb is in order for me to really catch it and be able to go do it and then maybe teach it. So
people try to complicate jiu-jitsu way too much. It's way simpler. You know, when you ask details, like the other day, I think it was with my dad. I was like, Dad, like, you know, there's something about the choke and stuff. And he goes, what? Put it right here. And he puts a gi on, like just a top. Like, show it to me what you're talking about. And I go, right here, like right this, when you pull it right here. He's like, you know, feel it, that's what he calls me. He's like, you got to use it right this piece on the neck. If it's not right there, like back there, by the first time you put the first hand, by the second one, you already have, the person's already feeling it deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the details. So when you go like a seminar, somebody does a class with my Uncle Hickson or somebody that's like a higher level and to somebody a black belt higher level, you see them, they're actually just asking details because the difference and the whole thing is on the detail. And you get somebody, see somebody like a Roger, right? My cousin Roger. He wins all his matches, but look at his jiu-jitsu. There's nothing crazy going on.
Very simple.
It's very
Known for
simple.
the basics of jiu-jitsu.
So if you get the basics really good and right, which far and few people actually teach that nowadays, unfortunately. You're Phil and Ricky, one of them. I love those guys.
Nice
Philadelphia.
plug. Phil and Rick, that's a nice plug. I didn't plug you. She did.
No, but Phil and Ricky, like the Migliarese brothers, the Valenta brothers, like you're going to get that jiu-jitsu from the guys that are back from the core of the Gracie Academy, you know, and you're going to teach them. Even my brother's system, like I like that system, but I don't love it because it has a lot of they've implemented a few things for sport jiu-jitsu. And I think that takes it away. I personally believe that from white to blue belt, you should just focus on the basics, and it should be strike based. So you need to know how to defend punches from the first day you're at the gym, and you need to learn how to roll punches. Not that you need to be punching anybody. I'm not saying that. Okay. But you need to know where they're coming from. So you need to be aware where they're coming from at all times. And, you know, that's
just not getting taught down here. I know in South
it's not getting taught anywhere.
Except for me.
Hey,
at my
there you
spot.
go.
Charlie
I
does stand
do
up.
it at my spot.
Yeah.
I
No,
do Ricky and Phil's curriculum,
Yeah.
white to blue belt. We do the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, combatives, what to do when somebody's on top, feet in the hips, how to stand back up, how to use your hand, distance, spacing. And when somebody's in your guard, when they're punching you, how to, you know, cover up, bring them, sweep them, put them in triangle, put them in armbar. When you're in mount, how to retain mount. When somebody has mounted you, how to gather them, bump and roll, like just the basics. And I do the same thing. I'll make sure that they're really proficient between white and blue belt in the basics of that. And then we can have fun with all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I'm not one of these like, we're only doing sport jiu-jitsu. We're only doing self-defense. We're not doing sports. No, I love the sports stuff. I love the high-paced stuff. I love the no-gi. I love the CJI. I like that stuff. But when you come into my school between white and blue, the main objective is to know that you can defend yourself in that certain way. And then right after that, then we can get wild as you want.
Yeah.
You are not going to lose light years on your jiu-jitsu by learning for a year or two how to do the basics. And then after that, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. I think people have that misconception of when they get into jiu-jitsu, well, if I'm going to go to the self-defense school, then I'm not going to be ready for the tournaments. That couldn't be anything further from the truth. Look at Megaton, okay? Hoyler's...
I know who Megaton is.
Okay, you know who he is. Did he ever practice sport jiu-jitsu before? I meant self-defense jiu-jitsu before?
Well, he was from Hoyler's gym. So there's already like some sort of... They only wearing white gis. Let's just remember.
Okay, so answer the question. He's done self-defense jiu-jitsu, right?
I don't know what the hell Megaton is doing, but all I know
He trained with Hoyler.
he trains with Hoyler.
He's saying like in the beginning, like did he when he first started learning?
The thing is this, is that there is a division. It's very hard in my view, to have a school that is sport jiu-jitsu and alongside a self-defense school, like a basic self-defense school stuff. Like a Valenta Brothers I don't think Valenta Brothers could be like let's do competition stuff because the style is so different. But the Valentas, for example, they dig in deep all the way through. Like you'll be sitting here and Pedro will be coming with a stick to hit you as a student, and you need to be able to defend that, you know. But it's hard to do it because there's just two different worlds in there.
They took heat on that side in South Florida. They took heat for staying true to the original Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, where they were like happy to, and people love them for that. The people that love them for that, and there were, I'm not going to mention names or gyms, but there were people that left that said, "Well, I want to do more of this sport. I want to learn, you know, go to another school." Then there's plenty of other places to go. It's one of the reasons when you were saying, you know, when you mentioned the Valente brothers, it's like you could go to. These days, it's a little bit more okay for people to cross train at other gyms. Mm-hmm. So once a student like you don't know what you don't know. So even as an adult student, once you start going and learning and hearing things like, you don't do strikes here, doesn't mean that that's a bad school. Maybe they're sport jiu-jitsu and everybody has an opinion on that. But
special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Is your business getting lost online? Black Belt Digital Marketing is a full-service digital marketing agency that helps you get found, get leads, and grow. We specialize in local and website SEO, so your business stands out when customers search. Our website SEO makes sure your site loads fast, ranks high, and stays ahead of AI-driven search, so customers find you first. More visibility, more clicks. More customers right when they're ready to buy. Grow your business online with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com or call 9542-204932 today.
you can go to another school. I mean, I've met tons of people down there. I can go to another school and do my striking. I can stay at my school and do more of the sports style jiu-jitsu, where we're starting from our knees a lot of the time. There's so many guys on the mat. You do a takedown, guys are bumping heads, right? So once you know, if you feel like you're missing something, you can go out. You don't have to leave your school, but you can go out and find that. I mean, it exists. It is down here. Like I said, you do stand up in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. The Valente brothers do that more traditional style. You're not going to see that at a 10th Planet. You're not going to see them start on their feet and throwing punches at each other. It just doesn't. It's just not their way, right? Even though Eddie Bravo's jiu-jitsu was kind of created for them, they're not doing a lot. As far as I know, they're not doing a lot of like, okay, let's start from standing and throw punches and. No, they're not doing that, right? Am I wrong?
No, he's right. And that's what makes, I think, this is not a plug for me, but it is a plug for me. That's what makes my place unique. When I moved down here to South Florida, I saw nobody's teaching the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Nobody's doing a combination of Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. In the school that I come from with Ricky and Phil, they're all about, they do Street Week, right? They do Street Week with MMA gloves on. Basically, you're fighting MMA. So you're learning Jiu-Jitsu with strikes.
Right, you got like Fight Sports. Deerfield does stand up and jiu-jitsu, and now they're becoming more of a little bit of an MMA gym with Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. You got AIM down in South Florida. They used to be a Fight Sports affiliate. He's Art in Motion. He's got a wrestling room. He does stand up. He does traditional jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, it exists. You just have to know what you need to know and supplement your jiu-jitsu with. It's there. It
exists. If you want to do that.
Yeah, if you want to do it. I'm 52. I'm done with getting hit in the face. I'm cool with just like going there, teaching a couple of moves, rolling around. I like it. It keeps me in shape. I feel good about it. I love jiu-jitsu. But I'm, not that interested with putting the gloves on. But that's where I started. The first gym, we had a Muay Thai coach. We did kickboxing. We had an MMA day. You start standing, pads on, grappling gloves, and then take them down and do your jiu-jitsu. So I did that too. But again, don't really want to wake up on a...
There was striking at the first Gracie Academy in Brazil. Like the Gracie Academies always taught striking. There was boxing gloves, and the gloves got old. They taped it. They continued taping it. All of a sudden, they threw it away, and people just stopped using it so much. It's just using the hands and stuff and slap. I obviously think that the slaps should always be, like I said, you don't have to be striking anybody in the face, but you need to be aware of where they're coming from. Because if you get in a street fight, somebody's going to be throwing punches at you no matter what. Right. And in regards to 10th Planet, a lot of people are so in the jiu-jitsu community, we're so like, we talk to them like about them and to them like, it's just that style of 10th Planet. I think it needs to be respected. And I think you need to learn how to defend yourself against it as well, because they're really tricky and but they're really good as well. And with combat jiu-jitsu, which Eddie implemented, they have been training more with strikes due to the combat jiu-jitsu.
Well,
which to me is, I don't like one thing, and I shouldn't even, every time I talk about combat jiu-jitsu, I say the same thing. I don't like the palm strikes. because, you know, you could break somebody's orbital bone, somebody's nose with that. And that's kind of the agreement that we have. Just we agreed to disagree. Now, right? I don't like the palm strikes. The intention is not to hurt somebody, but I think combat jiu-jitsu is what real jiu-jitsu is, because to me, jiu-jitsu as MMA is the same thing, because you do have strikes in jiu-jitsu. Some people choose not to train with strikes, but the real jiu-jitsu, in order to be a complete form of self-defense and the most efficient form of self-defense, you have to know how to defend against strikes, period. Otherwise, you practicing semi-jiu-jitsu, not the real jiu-jitsu, right? The Gracie jiu-jitsu or the real jiu-jitsu, you have to be able to defend against strikes. So Eddie did this phenomenal thing, which is introducing the combat jiu-jitsu stuff so people can learn where punches are coming from. And I think that's what he's does and what he's done to our sport is of extreme value. And they train that at the Valentes as well, with the punches and defending the punches and all that stuff. So I think, but I believe people now are getting a little bit more aware of what's happening and making the changes. And you don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to add strikes or I'm going to add self-defense to my gym today. Don't do like that. Just add a little piece and include in every single one of the classes that you teach so you can get better at it too, because repetition for the teacher to make sure that he knows how to teach that well, he has to do it every day, right? The same thing. So just add it to your curriculum.
I've had a few coaches that would do, and this might, you know, the gyms that I've been at 3 different gyms where were my home gyms, and I've trained at other places, but I did like when a coach would show like, okay, he's in a move or he's maybe in a precarious position himself, and would say like, okay, throw a punch. And then show like, he can't punch me because look how I'm controlling him at the distance. Or be in a move and say like, see, you would be here and you would be punching. But we weren't like with gloves on doing the strikes ourselves. But like my first gym, we did strikes. But the other 2 gyms that I have, you know, I'm at a sports jiu-jitsu gym right now.
You look like it.
Yeah.
What is the telltale sign, Rose?
His friend's jiu-jitsu hat. His friend's jiu-jitsu hat. And then he has like a flamboyant t-shirt, jiu-jitsu t-shirt.
Listen, this is from Flow and Roll, Technique Over Strength, right? Our sponsor, this side, our sponsor, Flow and Roll. This is I made this hat myself for me, and then I put it on our website.
So what is my style say? I'm just curious now.
Dad.
Huh?
Dad.
I like that. I am a dad.
Listen,
I am a dad.
My ex-wife used to tell me, she's like, enough with the jiu-jitsu shirts already. She's like, you look like jiu-jitsu threw up on you.
True.
But like when I was coming up, when I was like, at white belt, I started my first like MMA t-shirt site with my coach. And then it was always like, I'm like, I want to do that. I wanted to just be so much into the world even more and more and more. So yeah, this is.
But he like he's all jiu-jitsu'd up and he looks like Jay-Z a little bit. He's got that going on in there. Jiu-jitsu tattoo right in his arm.
There you go.
How did I never see that? I've been on the show 3 times.
Like, my tattoos, I did them on places where it's like a little bit more for me. Like I didn't do it out here. Right? You know, I get and I want to get other tattoos, but I did my tattoos. My daughter's name's up here. I put them in places that were just for me. But yeah, this is the most outwardly
just for me, and then it's like.
Right? So my marketing company is Black Belt Digital Marketing. We got the podcast. I got Academy Safe. My car is black and red. I purposely. My logo is black and red for the marketing company. So everything is based around like the jiu-jitsu and the black belt and the this and that. So yes, I have very much poured into it. I think this jiu-jitsu thing is going to take off. I don't know. What do you?
It's getting more popuar, is it not?
I am conscious of it. Like just in my daily life, I'm like, okay, this is too much jiu-jitsu. Like I have hats like this, you know, with the company logo on it. And then I'm like, well, I have this, and then this says jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, okay, I got to take something.
The question is, are you wearing the sungas, the Brazilian sungas? Have you gone that far yet?
The underwear, what's that?
Yeah, it's like that Speedo. The Speedo.
No.
You don't wear that?
No.
Then you're not a full jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You got to wear that during no-gi with no shirt on?
I definitely, I've bought into this pretty heavily. You can't see.
I used to go to a gym in New Jersey with, that doesn't matter. I'm not going to say the name. But we had like this weird rule where like you couldn't take your shirt off, which listen, I get if there's other people, but it was a pro MMA practice. So I kind of got it. Like if there was other people coming in, they didn't want people's shirts off, but I was like, okay, it's MMA practice. Maybe they just don't want people looking in and have guys with their shirt off. Okay, cool. But then you could wear a sunga. Basically guys were wearing sungas and spats that were showing everything. So I never got why they didn't need to put shorts on over that, but you couldn't take your shirt off. So if anybody has an explanation as to why that's okay, but the shirt not off.
No.
I don't know why would I become a specialist in that.
I couldn't figure that out. I was
I
like,
say no shirt because look, some guys are great in everything, but the problem is that some guys you just don't even want to look at them without the shirt on. It's like, bro, put a shirt on right now.
Sure.
I'm gonna make a new
I don't
rule in the
love
gym,
when, like-
just so I don't have to look at your hairy chest right now.
I don't like when guys like you can go to there's a bathroom where you can change in my gym, but like
Yeah.
guys will just like
Nah,
go down to their
no,
underwear
I
all
hate
sweaty.
that. No.
If it was all adults, it would be okay. I'm not saying like anything's wrong with my school, but like there'll be a guy that'll like quickly change in the corner,
no.
and I'll be like, dude, there's a bathroom, right?
I make
But
you
I
go
don't
to
like
the
that because we have a lot of kids that are like right at the like 15, 16,
Yeah.
that they're allowed, even younger, they're allowed to stay and do the adults class if they want.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they're not, 16 or about to, get a blue belt or whatever.
This is
yeah.
like an adult show and you can curse, right?
Yeah, it's in everybody.
There's no cursing.
You can curse.
Rose.
Okay, so that's my camera right there.
There you go.
All right. Listen up, asshole. Don't go to the bathroom barefoot.
Oh, that's a
Ever.
Agreed.
Yeah, my that we at the end of the show we usually ask like about the belt, about washing the belt.
They should wash the belt.
They should wash the belt. There you go. There you go. Where's my camera? There you go. You're supposed to be washing your belt. So we have. It was started out as a joke with one of my and when I originally started this before COVID, I had 5 people coming to my house recording. I used to record in my wife's boardroom at her office. We were just training partners. I said, hey, let's just talk about jiu-jitsu. It was just for fun. It was really for us. And then it took off, and then now 6 years later. But we had one of my training partners, when he got his black belt, we were just talking about washing the belt, and he was just like, you don't wash your belt?
Yeah,
and it became this thing, and it's the question that we ask just about every practitioner at the end, like, do you wash your belt?
Let me tell you something. If you walk in to Half Gracie Academy and you go into the staff room and my cousin Holland House and Sons belt is hanging right there, it literally hits you on the face how much that belt stinks.
Really?
I think people just tap from that how bad that thing stinks. I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous. Wash this belt. And it wasn't even a rule for me as bad until I got the stench of that thing. Like every time you walk in the back room, it's just like, ugh. I'm like, God dang it, bro, wash this thing.
I washed my belt last night. I'll wash it about once a month,
Okay.
but I spray it. I spray it with Lysol, or I have a client that started a soap and spray company for wrestling and martial arts.
Hey, you're full
Nutrizone Clean.
of propaganda. I gotta bring some.
Listen,
I'm like, are they paying you to drink that coffee right there, bro?
I think there's a sticker. Under one of these stickers that says Nutrizone Clean. I have the spray. He used to give it to us. He was an old sponsor. I built his website. Company built his website. So yes, shout out. But we had. I hang it and I spray it. I even washed it, and because I'm not going to dry it, I smelled it a little bit. I'm like, it's.
Why do you not dry it?
Because the belt usually shrinks.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Does it?
shrink down a little bit.
Who told you that?
I'm serious. It does.
I've had belts that like shrunk down a little. Well, it's cotton. The belt.
I've
It's
never
like
had that.
if you had a girlfirend that cheated on you, it doesn't mean that all of them are going to cheat on you. Not all belts.
Well, I mean, like my belt
In
is
South
like
Florida,
the
yes.
perfect. It's the perfect length. I haven't.
Okay, you don't want to mess with that.
But
Hang
I
it.
do Lysol or Nutrizone Clean it. I'll just put a little spray. So even I watched it last night, and I did take it out. I'm like, why? It smelled a little funky. I put some spray on it. I think maybe because I watched it last night and took it out this morning. Maybe that was it. But I hang and I spray it. I don't. The power's not in the belt.
As a good Brazilian, I have a problem with bleach. I love bleach. Bleach everything.
Really?
Bleach. So sometimes I picked up my Uncle Helson's gi and I just threw it in the wash. And he's like, a little bit of bleach only, little bit. I was like, okay. He's like, 1 spoon. And I go, glug, 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 just wash the thing. And I felt like the energy of the cleanliness coming in. I was like, yeah, there you go.
The only thing is that like the embroidery on a white gi, if it's got embroidery, then it bleaches the embroidery.
Well,
so
that's exactly. The shark on his gi was like black and red belt. So it was like
Gray
brown
now.
and gray.
Yeah.
So I had to get like Sharpie and like tap on it because he was going to teach us.
Elson, are you listening to this?
Yeah, what?
I do,
You do what you got to do. And then he's like, look what you did. He thinks.
Last night I do it once in a while. I put vinegar. I put
White vinegar.
I put white
vinegar is
vinegar
great.
in the bleach tray, and then when I set the thing, I didn't put bleach in it, but I put it on like the machine press whites. so that I make
Vinegar
sure
is
it flushes that vinegar where I put the vinegar tray. Like
Wash your gis with vinegar. Don't use softener. Just use a lot of vinegar, and the smell just goes away. and it
White vinegar, right?
White vinegar,
Yeah.
yeah. The ones
Yeah,
that buy
You're like getting a red.
balsamic,
Black.
balsamic
I'm
vinegar.
gonna red
You're like, wow,
today.
you smell like a salad.
Apple cider.
It's funny. Maybe like a month ago, I said something to one of my coaches. I'm like, bro, listen, this guy stinks.
That's awful.
And I wound up bringing him an older gi that I had, very clean, like washed.
Doesn't matter. He's gonna make it stink up tomorrow.
Yeah, but when we were lined up, he said something, and the problem is that not everybody, but a lot of people don't realize that they don't smell them. You don't smell yourself.
How can you not?
So sometimes
They're
you don't.
living with that all day. They just don't feel it anymore.
So we were lined up, and he said something, and then I added because I know there's some people like they're going like this, like who's the stinky gi guy, and I'm like, if you think that if you're standing there going nobody smells, it's you. If you're looking around like who's the guy that smells, it's you. Because if you don't smell the other guys that smell, it's probably you. And I said that in the lineup because it wasn't going to resonate unless the guys that smelled it weren't. Because I used to have a training
You
partner.
didn't tell him?
Then one of the black belts grabbed that guy and took him to the side and told him.
I tell people
And I
straight
brought
up,
him-
right? And I just tell, bro, you stink so bad right now. Go
Yeah.
take a shower, come back when you're done.
I brought him a gi.
Get outta here.
I brought him an old gi. He wound up the next class. He came with a brand new gi, and I gave him one of my older gis
I'm with
as well.
Rose.
And
It's
because
true.
I have, just because of the pocket, I'm not going to shout out any companies, but I get so many people send us stuff, so I will either give those away or wear them a couple times and then give them away. The Flow and Roll stuff is like our gi sponsor, so
You
that
just
stuff
did
I
it.
keep. Yeah, I know.
You just did it.
So
Flow and Roll, 20% off at flowandroll.com with code JJD. There you go.
So the guys, for example, they hurt their nose and they're bleeding all over the mats. I just try, put your nose up, bro. Blood all over the place. Go over there. Somebody get the bleach. Bleeding up. Because they're like, oh my God, I'm bleeding. And they're bleeding all over. I'm like, what are you doing, kid? Put your head up. Go to the bathroom. Clean up that stuff. Get out of here.
You mentioned, you said like you have them filled out a form or questionnaire. What gyms are you involved? Can you talk about like you're mentioning your involvement with gym? What gyms are you involved with?
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I hire a lot of people for many years to come here. So usually
Yeah.
with the gyms hit me up and they're like, they need somebody to
Oh,
come.
so you'll try to maybe.
Yeah,
get
they'll
somebody
hit me up and then I just help them sort it out.
Okay.
I'm really picky, picking
you should be.
instructors. Yeah. But I explained the situation like, it's crazy because like one time I went and I set up shop at one of these world championships, whatever, these, events. And I just had watched people all day like, okay, show me, what would you teach somebody on their first day of class? Because I want something really basic. Okay, let me see. And it's almost like there was this one particular kid that was really Kayoteha, right?
Yeah.
So I hired him to come live in the U.S., right?
Really?
So I was interviewing everybody, and it seemed like everyone was black and white. And then shows up this little kid with his little cute face and shows up, hi, and he's super late. And I was like, I was already packing everything up.
Brazilians late? No way.
I know. So, I'm packing everything up and then this kid shows up. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's one more kid. Let me just, the kid is already here. Let me check him out. And it was like, everyone was black and white all day and he was in full colors. I was like, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Like he's exactly what I'm looking for. He's like, what, you want me to do it in English? I'm like, it doesn't matter what language you speak. Just show the move and I can pick it up just by what you're doing. Because
Okay.
the language you can teach them. But, knowing how to pay attention to the details on the teaching, that's another story. And then I was like, that's it. And then he was like, okay, so what do we do now? I was like, no, you're going to stay here in the U.S. I'm going to send you over to my cousin Caesar's gym. You're going to go teach over there. He's like, I can't do that. I have my ticket for tomorrow. We're going to change everything. We'll take care of everything. He's like, and he stayed. And it wasn't until maybe like 2-3 years ago, I went to Brazil. I went to Half's ex-wife. She was at a party, whatever, and I got to this house at the party with some of my friends, and I showed up at the party, and they're like, whose house is this? I'm like, I have no idea. So I walked in, and I'm in the front of the whole thing, and this lady opens the door. She looks at me, and I go, hi, I'm Rose. And then she's like, oh my God. And then she hugs me, and she's really emotional, and it was like, and I'm like, I had no idea. And she goes, she was Caio and Kim's mom.
Oh,
She's
wow.
like, you changed my kid's life. You changed
Yeah.
her life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she trains jiu-jitsu. Super tough. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu too, Kaya's mom. And it was incredible to see her and to talk to her. And years and years and years later, she was like, the day that you said, Kaya, come to the U.S., it changed everything. Everything we have now and everything that we own in our lives is because, obviously not, it's to do his talent and stuff. But
Sure.
he wasn't a world champion back then yet or anything.
Did he lose his gym in the fires? Was he one of the
No.
his
Kaya?
Kyle his in
What
California during the LA fires?
He's
He
in
was
San
unaffected.
Francisco.
Oh, he was
He's in San
unaffected.
Jose.
Okay, I'm thinking of there was a bigger name. I forget that I said that. There was a bigger name that lost his academy in LA. That I'm
Lean
trying to think of
Lister.
it. Dean Lister.
Dean Lister
Hey,
did, I
Lister's
think.
in San Diego.
No, but I thought he lost his to a fire.
To a fire. That's who's Jocko's academy.
Yeah.
Is it Alpha? I
You
forget.
know what? I just talked to him this week. He did say something that they had a new
There was
gym
just a
or something.
fire
I
in
did,
the-
yeah,
There was
something.
a fire.
Yeah, but I just
wasn't
went right
the-
through. I was just like, oh, okay. And then
Yeah,
he's at
they
a new
rebuilt. They
gym.
rebuilt and they're open again.
That's good.
But that's
I can imagine that
I
happening.
don't know if he's if he's partners with Jocko, but that's like Jocko's home gym, I believe. That burnt down.
He wants to come down here,
Who?
Dean.
Dean?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll help you book some seminars and stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be
good.
cool. He's really good.
Yeah, he's I don't know, is he funny? Or is it that the people around him mess with him and then they get the funny out of him?
Dean is freaking hilarious.
Is he is, okay.
This is the stuff that he says and does. I'm like, Dean, stop.
There's a video of him training with the guy that runs, is it Rockstar Energy Drink? It's the guy that runs, I think, the talent management.
It's
and
not
he's in a lot of
Rockstar
videos.
Energy
Is it
Drink.
not Rockstar?
It's
Monster.
And it's Hans.
Hans.
Yeah.
Hans is doing a video with him.
Yes.
And he's just showing a leg lock, and Hans just keeps it going, twisting and pulling the leg. He's like, stop it. He's like, but he's showing him, I can get out of that, but you're teaching this, I think it was a straight leg lock. And it's just funny because Dean is just they're recording an instructional video, and he's just progressively getting more angry and angry and angry.
No, he's really
at
funny.
Hans.
He can impersonate Arnold Schwarzenegger like nobody
Oh,
else.
yeah.
He can do the German accent, the Brazilian accent. He speaks Portuguese too. So he's sometimes he says something. I'm like, Dean, well, you don't think I'm funny. I'm like, nah, it's just okay. But yeah, it's crazy. Okay, let's talk about concussion.
Let me ask you first before we do that. How do you guys know each other?
We don't. I just met him right now.
You're
Just met
lying.
him. Just met her.
Yeah, true story.
You're like, hey, pick up a Gracie and bring him in.
I only know I know Rose through the Miglerese brothers, which are my coaches, and Rose basically grew up with them at the Gracie Academy, and I heard that she was down here in South Florida, and I know that we were looking for some great guests for the podcast there, so I was like,
We ran out of people.
let me.
We have here.
No, I said best. Not we ran out, and then
I
I
love
was
to
like,
talk to anybody
me
that
hit Rose
knows
up.
anything about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I thought
like
it'd be
being
a
sponge.
great host. When we were talking at the event, I was like, man, let me reach out to Rose. Let me ask her if she
He
wants
knew
to
it
be
was
on.
smart. He was like, maybe this will be a good conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the concussion.
Yes, so it's a very big problem in our community.
Okay.
People don't talk about it. Like we were talking about the school safe stuff, right? That you're doing these
Academy
courses,
Safe, yeah.
Academy Safe. Look at that, messing it up. Academy Safe. It's so important for people to know what's really happening within our community of people. You don't have to be knocked out to be concussed. That is the biggest misconception of people. That's number one. Number two is if I got a concussion, I can't sleep. No. You should sleep.
Okay.
Rest. Your brain needs to rest. It needs to shut off so they can recoup. But it's a very big problem in our community, something that we definitely need to be a little bit more aware and teach more people about it and be more, aware of what we're doing within our schools, how we're teaching our kids, how we're taking care of people, because getting your body hit to the ground, even if it's just jiu-jitsu, you're not getting punched in the face,
Yeah.
could get you a concussion.
Like a hard takedown.
A hard takedown.
Yeah.
Because it's any hits to the body, neck, head, and all that stuff. And for me, it started with I was in a relationship, and I started seeing throughout time the bouts of like depression, anxiety, all these things. And I'm like, what is going on here? Then I started seeing that they would come in periods, right? It would come in, then it would get a little bit easier, And then it's like, okay, now we're going back again. And so it was like a constant roller coaster.
With that person.
The constant roller coaster. And I started seeing all these symptoms and all these things. And then one day there was an episode at the house, and one of my friends saw this episode, and she says, I'm not even kidding you. I just watched a movie right now called Concussion with Will Smith, and it literally looked like a scene from that movie.
Really?
Just so you can imagine what the scene was like. I was already so used to it that I would tell people, lie to people, saying, oh, he's losing his mind because he's cutting weight. It was a lie. And I would tell other wives to say that as an excuse. Just tell them they're cutting weight so it wouldn't look so bad that we're dealing with this. And even going to a restaurant, we go to restaurants. I'm usually the only girl and all the guys. And I would just tell the waiter, come here. I'm going to make the order. Everybody here gets punched in the head for a living. I'll place the order. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Okay, let's go. There you go here. And but it was like a common thing that I didn't know at the time, that it could be, oh, somebody comes in and they have no idea. Oh, hello, do you remember me? And I'm like, and then I just joke. If they get punched in the head and everything, what is your name again? Where are you from? Okay, I'll let them know. And, just trying to ease this situation within them. And then it started getting worse and worse. And then I watched the movie. That night, I watched that movie. And I immediately put CTE, because that's where I first heard about it, in that movie, on a TED Talk. I was addicted to TED Talks at the time. Now I'm addicted to Masterclass. Addicted to it. But I put it on the TED Talk. And the first talk that it pops up is from this gentleman called Chris Nowinski, which is the head of the Concussion Legacy Foundation out of the University of Boston. He actually lives here in South Florida.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Chris, I saw this talk on the TED Talk, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I just was searching. Now, there was not one video about fighting and CTE. It was all about football.
Yep.
There was nothing about the connection between fighting and CTE, which was crazy. And then at the time, and I'm like, how is this related to fight? So then I said, yes, it's repetitive hits to the head. They're obviously getting repetitive. When I was watching this, and the more research I was doing on the actual CTE itself, it felt like I was doing connect the dots when you're a kid, because it's like, oh my God, so-and-so has this, so-and-so does this, so-and-so that, and it was relating to people in my family, the people around me that I grew up with. It was like, oh my gosh, how did I not know this? It was like opening a curtain of something that has been hidden. And I thought, wait a minute, I filled out all their paperwork for athletic commissions. I was the one doing it. I have done everything, like every step of the way. I knew what was going on, all the information they got. Never once did we mention that this existed. So I started digging more. I sent a message to Chris. I said, is this possibly affecting fighters? Is this possibly what's going on within my community, that we're seeing all these things? These guys attempting suicides and all these things happening. Could this be it? And we talked. We ended up meeting. He actually asked me, do you know how to speak Portuguese? I'm like, yes, it's my first language. I know I don't sound like it. Yes. And I said, yes. He goes, well, I'm going to Brazil. Do you want to come? So he brought me to Brazil. And then in Brazil, I learned everything, how to remove the brain, what happens, the studies and all that stuff. But I started, the more I spoke about it, the more people would reach out to me. I said, guys, did you know about this? And just on social media and just on my Instagram, I'm like, okay, do you know about this? And then more people started reaching out. And then one day, this guy, if you look at him, he's like the happiest guy you've ever seen on Instagram. Biggest smile, and he asked me this question. And that, I think it was a turning page for me. He says, Miss Gracie, if I slip from the 25th floor, would you be able to use my brain for your studies?
Ooh.
And I said, no, I cannot use your brain if you slip from the 25th floor. But let's talk about this. We're not. And that's when I understood that the situation was really bad. And this was something that they battle and they deal with it on a daily basis. Now working more with MMA fighters and boxers, right? We work with all these different martial arts. I realized how it's something that people don't want to talk about, which mental health for men especially has to be something that people talk about more, because men usually feel that they have to take everything on their chest and do it on their own and handle everything by themselves. And they might seem like super happy-go-lucky around and stuff, but when they're driving alone in their car, they might be thinking of driving off of that thing, or they might be thinking of something, and just these little thoughts, I'm like, no, this is not it. It's not. It actually is. And you have to address these things, and you have to find people to be able to talk to understand what's happening, because it's a big responsibility to be a man in our society, right? Women have their crap that they got to deal with, right? They got to look a certain way, they got to weigh a certain way, they got to, they got to be, sexy, without being vulgar, without getting dude. And there's so much expectations from women in society. Like we go with our cars, we have to be looking at our backs the whole time. Men different. Their expectations of them and how to behave around society, that they have to handle everything on their own, puts them in the belief that they can't seek for help when they have mental issues. Or no, it's not it, or no, it's not that big of a deal. And it puts a lot of pressure on them. And sometimes what I've noticed too is that I've noticed some of them have heart issues just because of the amount of pressure that they're having. And all of a sudden they'll have like a heart attack out of the blue. And it's like, what the hell? It's all the pressure, the constant pressure on top of them. And it's very important for people to be able to address with their families. They don't even tell their wives. I have a fighter. And when I talk fighters, usually the guys that talk to me directly, they're always very well known, just so you guys know. So
it's not like a Loki Yoko, it's like somebody in the UFC or
somebody that has plenty of fight. But I have this particular fighter, and it's better now because I'm in Florida, but at 6 a.m. in California, he would call me. 6 a.m, every time, 6 a.m. on the dot. And he calls me at 6 a.m. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it today. And I'm like, you are going to make it today. And then I'll talk to them and I'll calm them down. I have developed little systems to calm them down and calm their anxiety down. If they're having like a meltdown, they'll pick up the phone and call me. They trust me to do that. And I tell them, like, write this phrase on your wall, I'm important, my life matters and whatnot. So I have this little quote that I have them write on their walls. But it's, he calls me, and then maybe I'll call his wife a few hours later. So how is he doing today? And it's always like, great. Why?
She's
nothing. He has no idea. She has no idea. So they don't tell their families. I get the lucky, I guess, ordeal that they tell me things that they don't tell their therapist or their families.
Yeah.
And I tell them, why don't you tell your therapist this? I can't. This is embarrassing.
So can I say that I have personal experience with the fact, like, when you open up to somebody, especially in a relationship, if you open up to my, this significant other, is that the fear is that sometimes that comes back to you, like in a fight. So besides not wanting to appear weak and be the man, and when you do share, it's bitten me in the ass where that comes back in some fight. And then it's like, all right, that's why I'm never going to share with anybody. So I do believe you have to find somebody to speak to. But that's also hard to make. That's probably one of the hardest decisions to make, is just like, all right, I'm going to seek help. A little bit easier these days because of apps and different things like that where you can find a therapist. But it's a very hard decision to make, to go, I now have to go talk to somebody. Now, do I tell my wife that I'm talking to somebody? Do I tell my family? Do I tell anybody? Am I immediately the crazy guy? Like, there's so much stigma that comes along with it that it's hard to go talk to anybody. But I know that a lot of guys won't open up to their partner sometimes because they're like, that's just going to come back to bite me in the ass one day. I'm telling them the ways to get at me in a fight, almost. Like, at least that was my experience with it. So very hard to tell somebody, like, I'm not doing good right now.
Yeah, I think there's wives and there's wives. So there's the picture that you paint of this woman being your perfect wife. Same thing with the husband. Oh, this is my perfect husband. And trusting that person sometimes is difficult because, yes, it will come back to you in a fight.
It shouldn't.
You'll wait for divorce. It will all come. You'll be like, shit, I forgot about told this asshole this. I can't even believe it. It shouldn't, but it does. And we have like.
How about it can?
Yeah. I have one of my cousins, and she always tells me, don't forget, husband is not family. Don't forget, husband is not family.
Good point.
We don't tell them. I learned now, I don't tell them shit. You date him? I didn't date anybody. I don't tell them shit. But I can't. On the other hand, I know what kind of human I am and what kind of person I am and what I would and not do in a situation. So I wouldn't bring it up, but I can't trust that no one else would do it.
Can I actually, you can absolutely tell me you don't want to answer this question. I'm divorced.
Lucky you. Best freaking decision.
How did I end up on this podcast?
So am I making the assumption that you are divorced?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll never get married again.
You said something, and okay, so I know who you were married to, and you said something before, and I was like, oh, is she going to say his name? And then I said, all right.
I'll never
I believe
get married
this is the person she's divorced from.
Well, I'll never get married again. And I think the reason is behind it is that we have. Times are very different right now. It's like you work, you pitch in, you take care of the kids, the business, the house, everything else, and you got to make the guy feel like the man of the house.
No, listen,
like,
bros, right now, guys, you have to agree with this. Right now, I think in history.
Have to?
No, I think you could.
first.
Men, I think you could. Men, listen to me here. Listen and hear me out. I don't think at any time in history have you had so much pressure on you to perform at a certain state, to make a certain amount of money to provide for your family and not feel emasculated in some way, shape, or form. Right now,
That's the word.
we are at a point for men that they feel so emasculated because they're like, man, I'm not making $300K a year. And right now, like, things are expensive. So men who can't provide this certain lifestyle for their family and their kids and their wives, and they want to feel like like a real man wants to feel like he's a provider. And if he doesn't feel like that, he may feel emasculated.
Yeah.
And at no point in history, I think, is it as bad as it is now. Let's go back 30, 40, 50 years ago when our dads were growing up. To be a provider, you only have to make
My dad was
$60K a
Superman.
year.
You never knew that there was anything wrong with that man. He was a cop. I can imagine the pressure that he was under.
Yeah.
He never wore that at home. You would never know. And to this day, he's not like somebody who's going to share. He's not an I love you guy. You know, hugs are weird for him.
He was a cop in New York,
In New
right?
York City Transit Police before
But
they merged the two
It was a
departments.
different lifestyle than to make a certain amount
I would
of
have
money.
never known if
right?
there was anything bad going on in his brain, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he didn't share that. Maybe with my mother, but we never saw that. I
But
never saw a
social
chink
media-
in the armor.
Social media here
yeah.
is especially when guys go on, they're like, damn, I don't have that nice boat, and like, I can't put my kid in private school, and I don't have this. Listen, like, those thoughts go through every man's head who has a family.
If they're
And
taking care of the family. But
if they're
usually,
taking care of the family. But even when they are, they're looking at the next step to like, damn, I don't own the big house. I own a townhouse. Or I don't own the Mercedes. I only own the Hyundai. And this is where social media gets men so messed up because they don't think they're enough unless they're at the top of the tier. But right now, things are so expensive that they can't even be middle class while busting their ass at 80 plus hours a week. So that is why men are so emasculated right now. And if it continues to go this way, it will only get worse.
I tell everybody, look, do not believe what you see on social media. You're only seeing the good stuff. Nobody's ever, I remember maybe about 10 years ago, I knew a woman that would always post like, oh, we're getting engaged. She had 2 babies with her boyfriend, and then they were gonna. I don't think they ever got married. They had 2 babies. She was dating. Like, oh, I'm with my best friend. This and that. Then they break up, right? Then they would break up, and then they would get back together. So we only saw the good stuff.
Yeah.
We never saw the moments when they were breaking up. It was my best friend. He's he's the world. He's the best guy. And then they're breaking up. I'm like, you only see the good stuff. Nobody's like really putting out the bad stuff, especially at that time. So it's very hard to. I don't. When I look at social media, I look right through it. I'm just like, no.
You have to.
It's good example. When I would watch rom-coms with my ex-wife, we'd watch movies, and she'd be like, why can't you be like that? And this and I'm like, do you realize we've been watching a movie for an hour? That man has not gone to a job yet. Like, it's just like, they're meeting in the coffee shop and they're doing this and doing that.
Let me ask
Did
you
anybody talk about, show me waking up in the morning at 6:30 in the morning to then have to commute to a job that you don't necessarily like, and then to get home, and then we don't see all of that. We just see them in the coffee shop, lovey-dovey, and all this other bullshit.
Did she ever post pictures showing her bosoms in a bikini?
No.
Say what a bosom. Say what a bosom is.
But no.
Condona.
No, my ex-wife wasn't like that. I mean, but I've been in relationships with people who, I mean, I was with my wife for 13 years. So like the internet wasn't, even in the 13 years that we were together, it wasn't what it is now. So I didn't have to deal with social media and other relationships. That was like, I was on Facebook and it was no big deal, right? We were both on Facebook. Then Instagram came about, and then, then the dating apps and all that stuff. So in the last 13 years, I didn't have to deal with relationship stuff and the internet. So this wasn't a thing for me. But we would certainly look at it and go, yeah, we both know that they're fighting right now. But then there's all the pictures. It's just the good stuff. And the puppy and the this and that. And look, this is my family and this is our son. Like all that, the cutesy stuff. But I look right through that. I'm like, everybody has problems. That's what people have to realize. Everybody has problems. So kind of going back to what you said with the way that the pressure is on men these days, I do look at it like, look, when you see that perfect family, that perfect thing with anybody famous, it's like, that's not real. They have the same problems you have. if the bank account is full, if they're rich or they're trying to make a business work, they still have all the same. They're arguing about who's taking out the garbage in a lot of cases. They're arguing about who's going to put the kids to bed. Did you wash them? Did you give them a bath? Did they brush their teeth? You know, like you're still having all those problems.
But let's be for real.
Yeah.
Let's
Do you
be
have
for
kids?
real, though.
Did you have kids?
I have kids, but this, like right now, if I see friends arguing or like arguments at all, like I just can't do it. Like I'm just like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Or even if I'm in a relationship with someone and it starts for some reason, some sort of like right there, you know, like there's.
I should say because I know that my wife, my ex-wife, and she has friends in the martial arts community that listen to the show, and I've got my ex-wife is an amazing. I'm really being serious here. She's an amazing person. We were just not right for each other. It took a long time. We were not right for each other.
That's mature.
But she's an amazing person. She's a beautiful, amazing person. But there were things that, you know, she didn't understand. Like I am, I don't want to say consumed because it makes me look really bad. But I'm running, you know, we got married and I left my job to open up a marketing company. I had one for 8 years before that. 6 years I worked for somebody else and then I opened up a marketing company. So it was. She had to go through that hard time of me building something in 16-hour days, right?
I've been here with you for 1 hour and I already can't take your marketing company.
No, yeah.
She stuck with you through the hard time. Right?
Imagine me having imagine having to live with me and hear the problems and like, you got to cancel.
It was a
bad day.
No way.
Yeah.
Rose says no way.
So
I would have want a divorce right now.
We were together. I was working, making lots of money, and I told her, I don't like this job. I hate this place. I'm going to leave. She backed me up, but then she saw how the sausage was made and was just like, I want to go on vacation and I want to do this.
Bro,
and I'm like, the
this
money,
is
building
where
the
it's
business,
getting skewed. This is where it's getting skewed between the women who are online and the women who are Americanized.
You're building a bit. You had to move. You moved from another state.
Bro,
to
he built a business. She watched romantic comedy. She just wanted him to give her flowers or something. He's like, he doesn't work like I work.
My
Look at
wife
this guy.
is a
He's hating
saint.
on the women.
My wife is a saint. She watched me go from 0, have a great gym in New Jersey,
to hero.
Over.
Come here, literally not have anything for a year, going through some really, 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 really rough time. My wife always stuck by me. Bad or not. My wife always stuck by me. When I had no money in my bank, I was driving a Honda Accord. I had nothing. My wife always stuck with me. She was always by my side. She never gave me shit. Every time that I'd be like, oh my God, we're low on money. Baby, don't worry about it. We're going to make it. I believe in you.
But not everybody's like, that's not.
That's right. Not every wife is like, but my wife is a ride or die. And now she
That
knows
is a difference.
we are
The ride or
doing
die.
well. And my wife does not, I mean, TMI, my wife does not have to go to work. She does not have to go to work. She can take care of the kids. She can do whatever she wants right now. But she chooses to go to work because she likes what she does and she goes part-time. And I'm like, you want to go to work?
I mean, I've had the conversations, and not only with my ex-wife, I've been in other relationships where I ran businesses. And I have to say, like,
but women
aren't. I'm building. We're in the building phase.
They're not willing to do that.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
They're online.
They're out there.
They're online. And when you see these things on Instagram, where do you want to be taken out on your first date? God forbid the guy works 80 hours a week. He only makes $60K.
I'm gonna say, like,
pull
on
the
the
list
apps,
up, Jamie.
On the apps,
It's a relationship
I
for
love
dummies.
when it says on one of the dating apps, like, a girl will say, like, what's the best first date?
Yeah.
And then it'll say, like, coffee, this, that. And the third one is like, tell me to meet you at the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
I'm a bitter old lady. My best date?
I'm a bitter
Just
old man.
cancel. I don't want to go.
I
don't
want to go.
Can you tell how bitter I am? Can you tell how bitter I am?
They want the best, but they're not willing to be with you through the worst.
Yeah, it's
I'm feeling a little women bashing here.
No,
You know that?
sorry, what I said. I said my ex-wife. I said
we're gonna put up in
told
here,
you how
guys.
amazing she was, and I do agree. Listen, when your mother says you need to find somebody who's like business minded, like has their own business,
right?
Then they understand.
Right.
Right.
That's the right button. You need to find when I tell my wife, listen, I'm not coming home. I can't come home. I'm going to be at work all day. Babe, you can do whatever you got to do. I can't be home this weekend with the kids. Babe, you got to do whatever you got to do. No, never is it. You're not spending enough time.
I don't know. I've done all that. I'm tired now. I don't want shit.
And now she reaps her benefits.
So you said that's it? Never getting married again?
No, I don't want to help anybody build shit. Go build it. Go look. Who like?
So you're saying go build it and just come give it to me?
No, I didn't say give anything. I don't need anything from anybody. But I'm just saying,
that's
have
good.
your own shit. I have my own shit. If you don't train even better, because I don't want to be dealing. Oh, God, jiu-jitsu.
I mean, you're in the world. I mean, you got to encounter.
dang it.
You have to encounter.
I've hit my quota though. That's it.
Of
There's
what,
no more.
martial arts guys?
Martial arts, no more. I've hit my quota. It's like no more, no
Yeah.
more.
Why?
Because all I've ever dated my whole life is jiu-jitsu guys.
And what's the downside of dating a jiu-jitsu guy? I think I know what it is, but I want to hear you say it.
No, from my perspective,
What is
it's
it?
very different.
And what is it?
I could
They're
imagine.
fanboys.
Yeah.
They're fanboys.
Are there fanboys? What else?
What, more than that shit?
Yeah.
Fanboys?
What else?
If I say something like, oh, my uncle, which uncle? It's like, bro, it doesn't matter which uncle. Carajo.
So I could see that. And one of the things, I saw a video that you had posted about somebody that was using the Gracie name that wasn't a Gracie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I
What's
could
up with that?
imagine like, well, I mean, that's a little bit different than the relationship side, but I get it. Like they get so attached to the name.
Yeah,
You know?
in the relationship, like, look, it's very difficult nowadays. There's a lot of pressure, but it's called like it's almost fast dating nowadays, right? So everything just goes really fast. I don't want to the problem is when you stay alone and then you kind of like that very much. You like it so much that you just don't want to do it. My mom was like, "Are you gonna get married again?" I'm like, "No, like, no."
Yeah, I like I like being in a relationship, but I also like, because when I've dated recently, it's been like, we're serious, but you're in your place and I'm in mine, and I'll see you on Friday, or let's get a date night, or this and that. But we go back to our own spaces, and I'm my own person in my own space.
Yeah.
I believe that I would get married again, but there may be a scenario where we're living in different places, and people actually do that. I looked at it with my ex. We were like, we're great when we're not living in the same house
perfect
together.
setup. If there's any setup,
That
that's the
exists.
setup.
People are doing that.
In Charlie, to go back, nobody has to give me anything. You just have to have your own life. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to help. I've already done that. Help build shit. I don't want to help build anything.
So you don't want to help. But I'm not saying that.
I don't want to help with anything.
You don't want to help with anything. You
No,
want to be
nothing.
like, okay, you're self-sufficient. I'm self-sufficient. We're good. We're one. Is that what you're saying?
Not one. We'll hang out when we want to hang out.
We'll be company when we want to be company.
That's it.
But I ain't
See you
helping you
later.
build shit.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. Look,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just
like,
asking.
I currently have a little bit of a roster just from the UFC lawsuit. I have 722 fighters that I help currently, right? So my phone rings 24 hours a day of some of them needing something stupid thing, whatever the heck they need, right? So my phone rings 24 hours a day of guys asking me for help. Either help because they need a sponsor, either help because they need a fight, either help because they fought their wife and whatever the deal is, or they impregnated some chick and the wife doesn't know.
Ooh,
and help
never
because they didn't get
happens.
paid from a fight, help because it's 24 hours a day, and I'm very quick at solving problems. I have a very large network, and what usually would take somebody a long time to do, for me, it's a quick phone call, right? And I very smart, so I know, like, I can tell, like, what would I do with the UCO Academy thing? What is that called?
Academy Safe.
Like, I know what I would do differently to make it work, so people would look at it in a different way and want to do it, right? So I know that stuff. However, what I think I know, right? So when I'm in a relationship, I want to be a girl. I don't want to be the guy of the relationship, having to solve all the problems, have to do everything.
I get what
want
she's
to be
saying.
a girl.
I had
Listen, I get what you're
somebody.
saying. I agree. I
had somebody explain that
I
to
get
me.
what you're
Like, I have, because I started these companies, like in the beginning, I am the business and then it grows. But it's like an accountant doesn't want to go home and talk about accounting at night. You know, like a lawyer doesn't want to go home and talk about the law. So you have to understand that there's going to be like, there's certain things that you have to leave. Now, my company, I've run most of my companies out of the house, or at least I started in the home, working in a home office. So it's hard to just walk out of a room and leave the work in the room. It's just like, okay, I'm going from the room to the couch, sitting next to my partner, and then going, oh, how was your day? Oh my God. Like it just it's a 30-second. I'm still thinking about it. It's very hard to separate the two, especially when you're in the building phase.
I get what she's saying now. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you, Rose. I apologize. I think
didn't even know you misunderstood me.
I was understanding was when she talked about, let's call it the masculine, feminine energies. She's saying, I want to be in my feminine energy. I want the masculine part to take care of this. I have no problem being a feminine woman and help supporting you on what you're doing 100%. And play my role, but I'm not helping you build a business. Okay, I misunderstood that wrong. I was taking it like, no. Rose isn't going to be supportive of her husband or the other person. You're just saying you're not going to help them build a business, which I agree, doing a husband and wife business is not easy.
Yeah.
That is hard.
It's very hard.
Very rare does it work.
Is that, again, if I can ask, is that your business? You said you're helping all these fighters. Is that a business?
No.
Is there...
So I volunteered the time with them because they are in the process of getting their money from the lawsuit. Yeah.
Okay.
So from that, I've helped them.
But in general, you said you had like 700
people always ask me for help. They know that
I mean, is that a business when you get paid for it?
Sometimes I charge them, but most of the times it's like, like, I tell them, they're like, Rose, it's a 5-minute phone call. It's like, bro, 5-minute round. Would you fight for me a 5-minute round?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do it? No, then pay me. So sometimes I charge them. Most of the times I don't. It's just people in the community that really need help and whatever the deal is. And like with somebody that it would take a long time to solve a thing, for me, it's usually just a text message. So it's really not much at all, nothing, But with the process of the lawsuit, it's a little bit more intricate because it's just the translations.
You're talking about a specific situation.
Yeah, this specific situation. Yeah, with the UFC lawsuit. This big lawsuit that they had right now.
I was just talking.
Is that where all the fighters with all the fighters got together and did a class action?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for the class action lawsuit that they just won.
Okay, so they won it, right? That's the one.
Yeah, it's $375 million that they got, which is nothing. Okay.
When it has to be split.
Not just split. It's $375 million. First 10% goes to court fees. Let's just take that off the top.
Okay.
Then it gets split between 3. So there's 1/3 goes to the lawyers. The 2/3 get split between 1,226 fighters. Okay. But it's not evenly split, which I also don't like. And let me tell you what. This is a band-aid to cover hemorrhaging. They should have gone to court for another 4 or 5 years to get maybe 4 or 5 times that amount of money. The problem is when I was thinking about like, do I help them? Because we needed some declarations to be able to pass through the judge to get the declaration saying we need the money now as opposed to later. And I went to town. Like I didn't sleep for like a good month and a half getting these declarations. The problem is that some of these guys probably will not make it 4 years down the line. They're not going to be alive to collect this money. God. And that's when I said, no, we need this money now because they need it now. Yeah. All of them need it now. Is that I was talking to them, I would, be like, okay, talk to me about your injuries on your body, why you need this money now and whatever the reason was. And then talk to me about the injuries that you have in your body from your toe all the way to your head. Let's go. Tell me if you had surgeries, which side, what, just straight up like that. And then I would write that down and I'm getting this stuff. And then about the eyes, which I was not really aware how many of them go blind, right? A lot of them are blind.
What? Like
MMA
legally,
fighters.
like legally blind or like partially blind?
Legally blind.
I mean, Michael Bisping lost his eye, I think, because of fighting, right?
A lot of them are blind. And it wasn't until Betty Correia. Do you know Betty Correia?
Yeah.
So to me, that woman is like a tree trunk, right? She's like, like talk about being a strong woman. That she could literally, the way her face off, everything about her. She's blind. So yeah.
Wait, in both eyes or one?
Both eyes.
How does she walk?
Well, she has a little bit of a vision, not too much, but she can't fight. She can't compete. She can't do a lot of this.
She can't do anything.
Is she able to corrective lenses?
No, she can't. No, she can't.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And to me, that, for example, was, and I'm only talking about her and giving her name because it's public knowledge. You actually go get the declarations. But the problem is this. So that money gets divided based on how much money you made at that period that you were fighting. It's only between December 16th, 2010, because of statute limitation. December 16, 2010 to June 30th.
Why is it on the 10th? Is that when Zuffa sold?
It's when they applied filed. So then if they fought on the 10th of December, which there was a fight card that day, if you fought that day, you're not part of the lawsuit. So it's only those fights from the 16th of December on to the 30th of June 2017. And then there's another lawsuit after, which is the Johnson that's going on starting right now.
So again, same thing though? Same
thing. And this is not...
Now they're grouping a whole bunch of people into that.
Yeah. And this has nothing... Look, I'm not even kidding you. I'm sitting here and like all these fighters are sending messages. And it's literally because, okay, what's going on? How is it going? Because they get nervous about their money, when it's coming out, what's happening. But anyways...
You can't blame them.
No, I don't blame anybody. I'm super cool. Like I'm their older sister, So, but what I wanted to get to the money point is that It's based on a percentage of how much money you actually made during that period. So if you had a good manager and you made good money, you're getting good money back.
Okay.
But if you had a shitty manager and you made shitty money, you're getting shitty money now.
So it's like a percentage of what
It's a
you were
percentage
making.
based on, it's about 30 something percent. This is all estimate of how much you made
on
total.
top of your
while-
prize
of
previous.
yeah, your show money or whatever money you made during that time. But so then when you think about it, some guys are making as low as like, $20,000, $18,000. Some are making millions. You know what I mean? They just come out that Anderson Silva told his amount was like $10 million and whatnot. It's about how much he's making. But this is a secret information, right? But he's the top of the tier. It's like the one that's making the most amount of money. So it's not fair to like some guys are not making that much, even though they have big names. But at that time, they didn't make that much.
They made nothing.
And it's constantly this whole thing with fighters, like, this is what you get, shut up, and that's it.
Yeah.
So there's not really room for wiggling. But the problem is that this is not retiring anyone, and they need this money.
Yeah.
And most of
the amount sounds incredible, like so high, but it's being split among so many people that it's not really
just
going to
split
be a
between
lot.
so many people. It's not split evenly.
yeah.
So some are making a lot of money, some are not making so much money.
And 40% off the top to lawyers and court costs.
Yeah, yeah,
30 and 10.
Yeah, 30 and 10. But
Wow.
So it's not. And again, when I talk to them, and that's why, for example, in Brazil right now, we didn't even talk about the Confederation, but I took over the Confederation in Brazil. I made a mandatory financial education because these guys don't know, and it's not just in the MMA community; it's in sports in general.
Yeah.
But what I do usually is leading with the MMA community because it's the people that I care the most, right? It's the people that I love the most in my life. So I usually go with jiu-jitsu, MMA. These are the people that I'm like constantly thinking about. But I've realized now, as I go outside of the MMA world, when I talk about, when I go to the talks with the neurologists and stuff, and I tell them, I'm like, obviously I'm not here to talk about medicine to a room full of doctors, because they're all doctors. I'm not teaching them that, but I'm trying to explain to them how our community feels and what we do and how you can put protocols all day long. Who's going to follow? Who's going to make sure that the fighters follow the protocols? No one is. Yeah. They don't. One of the things, so we were talking with them about the things in their bodies, and then I go, so how you doing? Oh, everything is good. No, I'm perfect. I'm super healthy. Do you have health insurance? No, we don't. Okay. So I talk about, do you know what CTE is? Right? I go back to the brain. And then they're like, not really. What is it? And then I explained to them, I said, can I tell you the symptoms and you tell me yes or no? Yes. All right, let's go. So I go, okay, depression, anxiety, light sensitivity, headaches, memory loss. And they're like, yes. I
have 4 of those.
Yes.
And I don't get hit in the head.
And then they're like, well, and I'm not saying just because you have these symptoms, you could be having some CTE, because there's obviously an issue in everybody has these problems, but you have to check and you have to do examinations that maybe your neck pain is not related to maybe something that you have wrong with you.
Your shoulder.
Right? Or your shoulder, whatever. But that and then they don't have a diagnosis for this until before they pass away. But people need to be aware that it exists, that it's out here and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's a very little money for the people that that need it the most. And we're not even talking about weight cutting, because that's criminal negligence, and that's a whole other podcast.
That also affects your brain when you.
That also
cut
affects
weight,
your brain.
I can't tell you
It's the stupidest thing.
When I first heard about CTE, like, it scared the heck out of me, because I used to fight MMA, and when I grew up in Trenton in the Philly area, we used to do hard sparring like we were fighting for real. I used to get knocked out. I used to fall down. I used to forget stuff, and like,
you're starting to make more sense to me now.
No, and then I would get back up, and we would just keep doing it again and again and again and again, and then I would fight MMA. Then when I heard about this CTE thing, I'm like, oh my God, I definitely fought concussed a million times. Then we would cut weight, get punched in the head, dehydrated, which I found out later, which I didn't know.
It even worse.
Which makes it even worse. I mean, like, you could die, right?
No, people die. People are dying.
We have to wrap in a couple of minutes, so I wanted to. We didn't talk enough about the actual organization.
Nothing.
We bashed women for a good amount of time. That was probably like a.
You didn't bash women. I would have let you get away with it.
So just as a side note, we're talking about the financial literacy. I know Matt Arroyo put out a video that he recorded at Maya. He was talking about that.
Okay.
And Maya does a good job at like coaching its members.
Phenomenal.
Right? They've been doing a good job.
I know how to do
the Martial Arts
everything.
Industry Association. Up there, right? They took the owners into like one room, like during
We do wealth.
Yeah.
They do our financial. I know my burn ratio. I know how to run my business. I know about my income, my alcohol. I know about everything.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
ROI on stuff. I know.
Maya
everything.
does a really good job at teaching its members.
You know what ROI is?
But listen, I grew
I'm
up.
impressed.
I grew up in a family. My whole family, my dad and his family, my father's father started a demolition company in 1920 that we still have today in 2020. So we've had it for 100 years in New Jersey. We own a trash and a recycling business in New Jersey, and I'm Italian. So I've learned business since I was a kid.
Knows where all the bodies are buried?
I've learned business as a kid. I knew exactly.
Where's Jimmy Hoffa buried?
I don't know where it is. But I've learned business as a young kid since I was 13, 10 years old. I've watched business. I watched my dad talk like deals and, you can't do this and you can't do that. And don't do this to this person, but you could do it.
I just hired a new accountant that's totally on top of that from my
So I've learned business from a young age. This just helps me even more now.
Do you want to plug your accountant in real quick?
Yes, Asher Gay. What's her name? Is Asher?
What is the code? What is the code?
Gibson.
What is the code?
Let me reach out. I will refer you to my accountant. There you go, Asher. Let's leave on because we didn't get to. Let's talk a little bit about the concussions. We only have a couple of minutes, but go ahead and give out any information like where people could maybe learn a little bit more. And anything that you want to say about the organization and your involvement?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now the best thing to do is start reading what the Ringside ARP puts things out. And I'm sending more and more information to them to be able to get, knowing and how to put things together for people. So Ringside ARP has a couple of things, consensus that they can take it to the doctors because only 6% of neurologists actually know what CTE is.
Interesting.
About
that's the whole podcast there because you go to school to learn about disease, and
but you never study about food.
You don't study about food, and you learn how to you prescribe this for that, but you don't learn maybe the holistic side, if that's what you call it, where change the way you eat, change this, and it's automatic. It happens to me. I had a heart attack when I was 43, and every time I go to the doctor,
you had a heart attack?
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Too much stress.
No, just stupid things I put into my body over time.
Which caused
the bomba.
The bomba.
So it was the only one quite when they were putting the stents in. The only question that she didn't even ask me my name. They bring me to the hospital. They're gonna go in through the vein to go do stents. The only question she didn't even ask me my name was she's like, steroids? And I go, yeah, in my 30s. She goes. And then you pass out a little. They don't knock you out completely when they do that because they don't want your heart rate to go down. So you're just drunk and in and out of it. But that was the only question she asked me, and she's like, okay. She didn't introduce herself. She did nothing. She just asked me that question. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did this to myself. I get it. I forgot what I was going to say after that.
That it was a great day. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming here today.
People
Thank
don't
you
do
so much for
steroids,
being.
do they?
So I know you say you do a lot of podcasting. If you ever want to do it again, and we talk, Charlie's been on now 4 times, I don't know. Part of what I did when I started this, it was literally called Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. I was a purple belt. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be self-deprecating, and I didn't want anybody to be like, listen to this purple belt telling us what to do. It is getting to know people in this world, and it's usually a lot of times not just about jiu-jitsu. I want to learn about people's world around jiu-jitsu and then how that ties in. So thank you for doing this. If you ever want to do it again, you let me know.
She's the person.
If you don't you do a lot of podcasts, you said. If you ever want to do it and you want to come talk about something, I'm open. Just let me know. You can let Charlie know. We can bring him again, or you can leave him out next time. So
You leave me out.
No, he's. Thank you for putting this together. I appreciate you.
I'm just kidding.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram @flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Is your business getting lost online? Black Belt Digital Marketing is a full-service digital marketing agency that helps you get found, get leads, and grow. We specialize in local and website SEO, so your business stands out when customers search. Our website SEO makes sure your site loads fast, ranks high, and stays ahead of AI-driven search, so customers find you first. More visibility, more clicks. More customers right when they're ready to buy. Grow your business online with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com or call 9542-204932 today.
I have a gift for you, but it's a sponsor gift.
Sponsor.
So
I don't get anything.
I know you took your the thing off the water, and we talked about why they're not paying. So would you like me to give it to you on air or off the air?
No, it's your sponsor. I'm going to support your sponsor.
So I'm going to let you choose.
Choose.
Charlie, you're going to get one today as well.
I've been on the show 3 times, haven't gotten anything.
That's not
Finally.
That's not true.
Finally. Oh, no, I did. I got a mug.
No, I've seen this brand before.
Leao Optics. I'm probably not even saying it. Leao.
Leo. Yeah.
I'll let you choose. These are one of my pair. There are bamboo sunglasses.
This guide.
Yeah. I am the NASCAR of jiu-jitsu right now. Okay, so I'm. So while you're choosing that, we're just gonna go out with Leo Optics.
Mine.
There you go.
Blackie Belch. Look.
Is our Leo Optics. Let me do this read so we can get out of here.
Hurry up.
So Leo Optics is our go-to brand for sunglasses and apparel, featuring their unique. These are the bamboo sunglasses with the red stripe on the inside. You can get your belt rank. You can, when you purchase, request your stripe if you want it. Nobody ever requests white belt. They're based in Southern California. Their products embody the BJJ lifestyle. You can go to layoutoptics.com and use code JJD for 10% off your order. And they are supporters of Academy Safe as well, so I appreciate all their support. That's it. We already shouted out everybody else. Anything you guys want to add on the way out here? You don't want to give out Instagram. Normally people are giving
Rose
Instagram.
Gracie, that's it. Is that
Rose
good?
Gracie, follow you.
But you don't have to find me, guys. This is good. I've got plenty of people already.
If you Google Rose Gracie, you're going to see everything that she's doing.
And some lies in there too. There's some things that are not true when you Google.
That's the next episode. We will. You'll find it is called concussionfoundation.org. Where they can find more information out about what you're involved with
yes.
the CTA, right?
Yes.
Concussionfoundation.org. I, again, appreciate you coming on so much. Thank you for doing this. Charlie, thank you for coming back.
Yes,
Ben, I'm sorry that we missed you on this episode. You can check us out at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies for all the ways to watch, listen, and support. My personal IG is Uncle Milty BJJ. Got to throw the Jiu-Jitsu in there, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, Jiu-Jitsu. Os.